Okay.
Good morning. So let's bring our hands together and close the eyes. Just take a deep inhale and slowly exhale. Again, inhale. And this time when you exhale, lower the arms. Inhale to reach up. And we're just going to bend the elbows so the thumbs touch the back of the neck for an exhale. Arms up, inhale. You can look up if you want. Exhale, just touch the back of the neck with the thumbs. The upper arm didn't move. Inhale, reach up. So the elbows stay right where they are. Exhale, just bend the elbow, thumbs touch. One more time like that. Inhale. This is just setting up your shoulders for what's to come. Exhale. Inhale, reach up. And this time fold forward, exhale. Halfway up for the inhale. And step or jump into chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. And we'll let this one just be normal. You can pedal out your mat. I usually get cat hair off my mat. That's 2. 3. 4. And 5. Exhale completely, then look forward and jump. Inhale when you get to the top of the mat. Exhale, fold. Rise all the way up. Inhale, keep the palms together. Thumbs to the back of the neck. Again, exhale. Inhale, reach up, tailbone down. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway up, inhale. Step or jump back. Lower down, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. 1. For this one, let's bring the feet together, lift the right leg up, stack the hip, bend the knee. That's 3, change legs, right foot down, left leg up. And left foot down. After your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale there at the top. Fold, exhale. Rise all the way up. Inhale. Palms together if you can. Thumbs to the neck. Exhale. Keep the core strong. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to fold. Halfway up. Inhale. Step or jump back. Exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Let's come down to the knees, lower to the elbows, measure it out, even if you've done it a million times, and palms down again. Parallel forearms, down dog B. Lift the knees, walk the feet in. So if your shoulders feel a lot here, some of the poses that will come later might feel like too much, in which case you would repeat this. It does get easier the more you do it. After your next exhale, just straighten the arms. Stay there for an inhale. Exhale there in regular down dog, and then step or jump forward. Inhale at the top. Exhale, head to shins. Rise all the way up. Inhale. Thumbs to the back of the neck. So your pubic bone is lifting up. Inhale so you don't overarch the back. Fold, exhale. Halfway up. Inhale. Step or jump back. Lower down. Exhale. Upward facing. Inhale. Downward facing. Exhale. So we'll attempt to go to down dog B again, but this time we're not going to put our knees on the floor first. We're just going to start squeezing the elbows in and let them gently land where they were before when you started with the measurement. Head should still be off the ground. You should be able to relax your neck. Your fingers are working to push your chest toward your legs. So keep your fingers working. Return to straight arms. The elbows keep hugging in. And after your next exhale, step or jump feet to hands. Inhale there at the top. Exhale, fold. Rise all the way up. Inhale, find that core strength. Thumbs to the back of the neck. Exhale. So tailbone is dropping. Inhale. Let's keep the arms up, just bend into the knees. And now it's no longer tailbone dropping. Now there's a bit of a swoop because this is now a back bend. Chest lifts. Let's straighten the legs as we fold. Exhale. Halfway up, inhale. Step or jump. Chaturanga. Exhale. Upward facing. Inhale. Downward facing. Exhale. Right foot forward. Anjaneyasana. So back knee will come down. We'll lift the arms up just like we did when we had 2 feet on the ground. Stay here for a moment. Dig your right heel into the floor. Maybe bend your front knee deeper. And just touch your thumbs to the back of the neck. And we'll stay here for a moment. Press the head gently into the forearm. Next, inhale, arms up. Exhale to chaturanga. So hands will come down. We step back and bend the elbows, all in that same breath. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Left foot forward. Back knee down. Take your time settling in. And when you can, arms up. And without moving the elbows, just the forearms. And the head can gently press into the forearms. We try to lift the chest up higher so that there's less kind of weight and claustrophobia in the low back. We'll lift the arms, inhale. Hands to the floor, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Let's come to the left forearm. Sneak the right hand a few more inches forward so that right arm can still be straight. Feet together. And right leg up. Heaven and earth is what we call this in these here parts of Southern California. Let's lower the right leg down and slide the right forearm down. So now you're just in down dog B. Very normal. Both arms rolling away from the ears. We'll re-straighten both arms. Heels up high, inhale. Bend the knees, exhale, and jump forward. Inhale when you get there to the top. Exhale to fold. Bend the knees. Inhale. Samasthiti. So you find that neutral pelvis for a moment. And intentionally creating a back bend. Utkatasana will stay here for a few breaths. So you decide how the back bend gets allocated. The more you sort of just stick your butt out, the more you're going to feel it in the low back. So think of pubic bone up, tailbone slightly down, so that you are in control of where your back bend goes. Then we'll fold straight legs, exhale. Inhale, halfway up. Step or jump, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Right foot forward, Anjaneyasana. This time we're going to reach forward. And we're going to keep reaching, but plug the arms into the sockets. And hopefully your screen, you can see the difference. This would just be reaching, there's a disconnect, and that's plugging it in. So practice that a little bit, and then once you're plugged in, bend the elbows and press them back. Take 2 more breaths to bend the front knee deeper. And then we'll place the hands and vinyasa. We exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Downward dog, exhale. Left foot forward. Lower the right knee. Arms forward. And just play with this so that you have some idea of what your arm is doing. Also keep squeezing your legs together so that you don't overbend in your low back. If the legs get lazy here, you will kind of overdo in the low back. So once your arms are plugged in, elbows back. So it feels like your chest is lifting up to the ceiling, but it's happening because the back of your body is contracting. Let's place the hands, and when you're ready, step back for vinyasa. And we'll go for heaven and earth side 2. So that right elbow is going to come down, the left hand a few inches further forward, feet together, and left leg up. So we're just attempting to get a straight line from foot to hand on the left side. Belly in. Should be somewhat comfortable. We'll lower the foot down and bring that left elbow in so it's just down dog B, which hopefully is getting a little more comfortable with each one that you do. The trick to this really is elbows in. Then we'll straighten the arms. After your exhale, step or jump. Inhale there at the top. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees. Inhale, there's the back bend. Samasthiti, neutral back, neutral pelvis. Bend into the knees. Inhale. And fold forward. Exhale. Halfway up. Inhale. Step or jump back. Chaturanga. Exhale. Upward facing. Inhale. Downward facing. Exhale. Right foot forward. This time, warrior 1. If this hurts in any way, just lift the back heel. It might be a little bit easier. Let's reach up. Steeple mudra. So we'll interlace the 3 littler fingers together, and we'll use the right arm to help us pull up on the left hand, getting the left arm straighter. And same thing for the other side. So you're, in essence, picking yourself up by the bootstraps. And interlace the fingers behind the back. Chest up, arms straight, belly in, and we'll fold. Either shoulder on thigh or shoulder inside of knee. You can drop your head and see your back leg. I like to have the palms open here because otherwise the shoulders get kind of stuck. It feels nice when the arms can get far enough overhead that you feel an opening in the shoulder. So we're already pretty low. We'll just stay there, release the grip, hands down, chaturanga on your exhale. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Left foot forward, warrior 1. So we have a heel to arch, or I lied to you, heel to heel alignment so that we can be square to the front. Steeple mudra. You can look up or you can look straight ahead. But the back leg is working really hard to push that right hip forward. And in a different class, we had talked about zipping up through the low belly. You need to do that here. Pubic bone rises up toward belly button. Let's interlace behind the back. Inhale, chest up. And exhale, fold forward. Each inhale, you can reach your knuckles away. Each exhale, gravity will help take you there. Stay low, just release the grip, hands come down. Your shoulders are already where they need to be, just step left foot back. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Feel free to stay here or do any of the things we've already done pertaining to down dog B. Otherwise, rock forward to plank, inhale, and right into down dog B. So you lift your butt, lower your elbows, and press your heels down. To get into plank again, press into the balls of the feet to, in essence, bring your weight forward. Your elbows have no choice but to lift. Try it one more time if that's what you're choosing. We want the arms to lift and lower at the same time. And let's meet in a regular down dog with straight arms. After your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale there. Head to shins, exhale. Bend the knees, inhale. And Samasthiti, exhale. Let's separate the feet about hips width. Inhale, chest up, and fold forward, exhale. You could bend the knees here if you want. Take hold of the big toes, first 2 fingers and thumbs, inhale, and fold, exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Straighten the arms for an inhale. Hands to the hips, exhale. Then we'll come the rest of the way up and just bring the feet together. Let's take a big step back with the right foot and pivot so we find a warrior 2 with the right knee bent. And we'll just stay here. Make sure the legs are comfortable. Ideally, this femur is parallel to the ground and the shin bone is vertical. I know Miss Ann is practicing with her mirror handy so she can see that. Without a mirror, it's really hard to tell what's happening there. Let's straighten the leg for an inhale and bend it on the exhale. One more time, inhale and bend, exhale. So we'll stay here again in warrior 2. Right arm is going to come up and over. We're going to hold the elbow with the left hand. I'm just going to spin around so you can see the arms back there. The right fingers are near your shoulder blades. Either stay like that or reach your left arm around and try to find your hands. Whichever you're doing, whether you're holding your hands or your hand is on your elbow, you're going to try to push your head back into the forearm and open the throat. And slowly release, straighten the right leg. Pivot the feet just a little closer together. So the back foot's just going to scoot in, triangle pose. Reach out and down. Left arm can be up. Or if you're trying to work shoulders more, roll the shoulder forward, reach behind you, find your thigh. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And slowly unravel yourself. Strong core. Inhale your way up. Then pivot and lengthen your stance again to where it was in your warrior 2. And we're just going to stay here. And you can maybe check in and see that you have roughly a 90-degree bend there. Another thing is make sure you can see your front big toe. If your knee is dropping in, it's going to block your view. So push your left knee to the left. Belly in, there should be a nice feeling of lift. No back pain. We'll straighten the front leg for an inhale. Bend, exhale. One more time like that. Straighten, inhale. Bend, exhale. Into Gomukhasana arms. So the left arm up and over. You can hold the elbow, negotiate as needed. Once your fingers are far enough down your back, that right arm's going to roll forward so that your fingers can hold. Sometimes people use a strap here. I'm pretty lazy about acquiring props. So I would just use my shirt if I couldn't grip the hands. Head back, throat open, legs squeezed together. And we'll slowly get out of there and just pivot to face the long edge of the mat. Hands to the hips, inhale, chest up. Then fold forward, exhale, hands between the feet. Inhale, straight arms. Exhale, head down. A few breaths here. Just try to get the weight out from your heels. You're keeping your heels on the ground, but they shouldn't be any heavier than the balls of your feet. Let's straighten the arms for an inhale. We're going to walk our feet apart, and we're not going to come into Kapotasana, which is that side split, but we are going to try to come all the way down to our butts. So swivel your feet so that the kneecaps and toes face up. Your heels are on the ground. Walk your hands back, but keep your shoulders forward. Then slide your legs down your forearms until your butt comes to the floor. Bring the knuckles together. The elbows will be up or down depending on how much you want your wrists to bend. I'm really sweaty over here. I don't know if it's the pants I'm wearing or the just temperature of the world, but I am dripping. Okay, shake out the hands. Bring them right to your inner thighs. And if you tried to lift up from here, nothing would happen. So you need to lean forward. Shoulders in front of fingers, then you can push into your hands and your butt will come off the ground. Keep your legs strong as you walk your hands forward, and then just start to wiggle the feet in until eventually they're at a nice distance. Then hands to the hips, and we'll come all the way up, and let's just come to the top of the mat. Feet together, inhale, reach up. Fold forward, exhale. Halfway up, inhale. Step or jump back, lower down, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. And downward facing, exhale. I think we forgot triangle on side 2. And by we, I mean me. So just step your left foot forward and rise up so that we can do that triangle on side 2. Reach out. Lower that left hand, right arm up, or right arm behind the back. And we'll be here for 5. That's 2 so far. And 3, 4, and 5. Lift the right arm up, strong core as you rise up. And now let's meet in downward dog so that we can get back onto the normal schedule. Let's bring our right leg into pigeon. And we'll lower our chest down. We can bring the forearms down, or you can have your hands out to the side. But you're going to bring your chest toward your shin bone. And just let that open through the right hip. We'll just stay for a few breaths here. It should feel good, but you also are working both legs so that you don't fall over onto the right hip. Okay, hands down, 3-legged downward dog. So that left leg will get strong, just lift the right leg up. And on the exhale, step foot to hands. High lunge, arms up, into a twist. Left elbow outside of the right thigh. And we'll try to get the chest up to the thumb. If the chest angles down toward the floor, it might just mean that your top hand needs to be stronger, pushing down into your bottom hand. If this is going well for you, left hand to the floor, right arm up. If it's still going well, right arm extending over the ear, pinky angling down. Let's untwist. Walk the right foot to the left again, pigeon. Same thing, same leg, all that. This time we're going to bring our left forearm parallel to the top edge of the mat. Right hand thumb is going to slip into the hip crease. And we're just going to twist. And as we twist, we're in essence making that right hip open a little bit more, then we can look back over that right shoulder. Okay, slowly exiting. Three-legged dog again, right leg up. And again, right foot stepping forward, maybe 3/4 of the way forward for twisted triangle. The heels line up, back foot 45 degrees, left hand to the shin, the block, or the floor. Push really hard into your right foot. You're going to feel then that your left hip moves up toward the ceiling. Creates more space. Let's slowly unravel. Place the hands and vinyasa. And from downward dog, we'll bring the left leg into pigeon. And you decide how close to your wrist you put that left foot. It can be all the way back by your right hip. It can be level with your left knee or anywhere in between. Just keep yourself from rocking over to that left hip. Right now, I'm using my left hand out to the side to ensure that I keep square, and I feel more of a stretch than in that left hip. Okay, hands come down, lift the right knee, three-legged downward dog, and step forward to the hands, high lunge. Arms up, inhale, twist. Hook as far up on your right arm as you can, so that it feels pretty much like your armpit is on your thigh. And then your chest can start to move up away from your leg. If your armpit is close to your thigh, you could probably get your right hand down to the ground. Then the left arm is free to lift up or extend. We'll slowly untwist. We'll just walk that left foot again to the right, lower the knee. Again, we are in Pigeon. The right forearm will come parallel to the top edge of the mat. Left thumb will just slide into that hip crease. And by bringing the left hip back, you're just going to open that hip more. Oh, Lordy. You can help yourself twist with that right hand. Also, pull yourself into the twist with your fingers. And we'll slowly get out of there. Take your time, three-legged downward dog. Left leg up. Step 3/4 of the way forward. That's an inexact number. Your twisted triangle distance. Right hand down. Left arm up. 1, 2, keep pressing into the ball of the left foot. 3, 4, and 5. Slowly get out of there. Place the hands and vinyasa. Start to walk the feet forward toward the hands. And when they get within reasonable distance, slide your hands underneath the feet, toes by your wrists. Inhale and fold, exhale. Staying here for 5. So this will help your wrists if you have any issues from maybe too many handstands or too many chaturangas. You can press the balls of the feet into the fleshy part of your hand. Give yourself a little massage. We'll release the hands, bring them up to the hips, and inhale your way up. For a moment, let's bring the hands, I'm just gonna do this with my shirt. So just to the side of the belly button, little fists, and we're gonna fold over those hands. So as you're folding, dig your knuckles into your belly so that your mid-back can feel release. You might want to bend the knees or you might not. But that's in essence an Uddiyana Bandha. It's just very manual with your knuckles. So keep that happening as you rise up. And try to keep that lift and that drawing in even when you take your hands away, so that this part of your back always feels safe. Okay, let's separate the feet to the long edge of the mat. Prasarita C. We'll reach out on an inhale and interlace the fingers behind the back for the exhale. Chest up, inhale, and we'll fold forward for the exhale. And we'll stay here for about 3 to 5 breaths. And try to bring your heels to equal import as the balls of the feet. So they're no more important. They're no more heavy. And let's rise up on an inhale. Release the arms, exhale. Right arm is going to come up and over. Not all of you are going to love this. So we're either going to stay here, this is the same thing we did before from Warrior 2, or link the fingers like you did before. And you may want to strap or hold your shirt. Inhale there, head presses back, and we'll fold forward for the exhale. And you'll notice that maybe you don't want to fold as far as you did in your Prasarita C, or maybe your neck has to be stronger to prevent your arm from creeping down on you. We'll come up for an inhale, very shouldery. Release, exhale. Left arm up and over. And you can keep your hand on that elbow or bring your right hand around. If you have any pain here before you fold, then adjust it before you fold, because it gets infinitely more difficult as soon as you start to bring yourself down. So keep opening the throat. I know it's tempting to curl into a little ball here, but chin away from the chest. And we'll rise up for an inhale. Ooh, Lordy, and let that go. Okay, step to the top of the mat. Arms up, inhale, and fold forward, exhale. Halfway up, inhale, and step or jump back, lower down, exhale. Upward facing, inhale, downward facing, exhale. Right foot forward. Anjaneyasana, hands to that front knee, chest up. I'm going to spin so that you have a better view of the back foot if needed. So we're just going to reach back with the left hand for the inside of the left foot, but then we're going to sort of relax. So we're going to have to work the legs here in order to keep the left hip moving forward. So I want your left arm and chest and shoulder to be relaxed, but the legs are squeezing together like crazy. And slowly undo. We're going to walk that right foot to the right a little bit, turn it out. Left hand down, right hand back. Now to the pinky toe side of the foot, and we're just going to kick. And let that right shoulder go with you a little bit. And slowly unravel. Bring that right foot in again to a nice normal place, and just step into plank. If you have any wrist issues, do it on your forearms. Really, the goal of this plank is to find lift in your belly, comfort in your back. And we're all going to come to the belly. So whether you're on the forearms or not, just come on down somehow. Shalabhasana A. Arms by the sides, chest up, legs up. Knuckles are down, including your pinky and your thumb. And instead of thinking heels to the ceiling, think toes away from you so that your legs stay straight. And we'll come on down, hands under the shoulders, upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Left foot forward. Anjaneyasana, hands to that left knee. Chest up and control how much you bend. So just like that Utkatasana before, your low belly draws up so that you're not just kind of mushed up in your low back. If you're flexible, you might tend to do that. So we're going to reach right hand for inside of foot. And then just let it move away from us without a whole lot of effort. The effort is in trying to keep the hips square and in continuously bending the front leg. And it should feel pretty good in that right shoulder and in the pecs. And let that go. We'll bring the hands down and walk that front foot to the side a little bit so the knee can drop open. Then when you're ready, twist. The left hand will come to the pinky toe edge of the foot. And it's kind of funny if you can see your back foot, you think it's doing one thing and then you realize it's sickled or it's just pointing in a weird direction. It's an interesting little game you could play. Okay, we'll slowly get out of there. Step to plank again. Be mindful of your wrists. You could also be on your knees like this. It still counts. I just want you to feel your tailbone reach toward your heels, and I want you to feel comfortable in your back. Let's come all the way to the belly. Shalabhasana B. So we'll slide the hands back toward the waist. Otherwise, it's the same. Chest up, legs up. Elbows squeeze in. The eyes turn toward the tip of the nose. And just feel your entire back side working through the legs, through the glutes, through the back, the upper back, and come on down. Hands slide a few inches forward, upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Right leg forward, Anjaneyasana. Hands to that right knee. And you might do this 600 times. You don't have to do any of the other stuff we're doing. If you want, left hand to the big toe side again, just like you did. This time, twist a little bit. See your foot, bring it all the way to your hip. Once it's close, swivel your hand around your toes. Bakasana grip. Elbow will face up. If your wrist does not like this, you'll do it instead like this, with the knuckles on your toes, your palm facing away. It will be the same for the shoulder and the pecs. Maybe you can't get the foot quite as close to you, so it'll be a little different for the quads and the hip flexors. Let's slowly get out of there. Back foot forward, inhale, and right foot back, exhale. So we're just on side two. Hands to that left knee. When you feel like it, reach back. Make a decision based on your wrists. And it is very helpful if you're new to this grip and it's weird for the shoulder and everything. Look at your foot, bring it very close to you first. Once it's close to you, it's pretty easy to get the fingers to curl over, especially if you can get your pointer finger to go between big toe, second toe. And we want to be lifting through the chest, curling the upper back. Maybe minimize the bend in your low back by drawing up through your low belly. And we'll slowly get out of there. Let's step into plank. Lower down to the belly. Shalabhasana C. So we'll interlace the fingers behind the back. Lift the chest, reach the knuckles back. And if you can, lift the legs. Again, we're contracting the whole back side of the body in order to stretch the front. And we'll slowly come on down. Hands under the shoulders, cobra. So keep your legs down and just feel your shoulders roll back, elbows in close to the body, and lower down. Sphinx. Elbows slightly in front of the shoulders. Same idea as cobra, rolling the shoulders back, creating the stretch for the front because you're working the back. Then we'll curl the toes, forearm plank, bring the ankles to touch, and just make sure there's no back pain. Walk the feet in, down dog B. And then straight arms, regular downward dog. Okay, we'll rock forward to plank and lower to the belly. Backbends. So, what we did before from Anjaneyasana was we took that Backbends grip. If it was tough for you, you're going to go one leg, same thing as we did in Anjaney, and then you'll go the other leg. I'll tell you when we're about at the halfway. Those of you going for Viparita, head down, reach back. Hold the insides of your feet. Start to lift your chest and shoulders up. Bring the feet closer to your hips. Then bring pointer finger between big toe, second toe, and negotiate your wrists. Then you can start to lift the chest more, elbows in, and the hands will naturally push your feet closer to the floor to make your back bend a little bit bigger. The toes also push up into your hands. And slowly get out of wherever you are. Those of you who were doing one leg, I totally forgot to tell you to switch. I got carried away. So we're going to meet in down dog. And if you were doing one leg at a time, just make sure you spend equal time. And those of us that are in down dog, we get a little minute to breathe. Okay, we'll rock forward to plank again and exhale down to the belly. Dandasana. We're going to do this two separate ways. So this first one, place your forehead on the floor. Reach for your ankles. We're going to reach for the outside of the ankles. We're going to keep the forehead on the floor and start to lift the thighs up. Purely because we pressed the ankles into the hands. Once your thighs can't go any higher, then let your head come up and flex your feet. And let's slowly come on down. Hands under the shoulders. Inhale, cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, come on down. So this time we will keep our thighs on the floor. So again, we'll hold the ankles. Instead of the forehead staying down, the thighs are going to stay down, and we're going to kick. And we wind up with a lot of chest opener. Once your chest can't come any higher, then let your thighs lift up. Potentially point your toes and bring your feet together. This is Dandasana. Your arms are the string of the bow. Let's slowly get out of there. Hands under the shoulders. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. pigeon, right leg in front. I'm just gonna swivel around. And let's bring our hands just to the side of the mat so that it helps us steer square. And if you can, hands to the hips. And try not to fall over, because it's very tempting to be here, where you're on your right butt and you're facing a diagonal, but that's not really pigeon. So just notice what your legs have to do to make this happen. And let's cheat and rock to that outer right hip so that we can straighten the right leg, turn it into Hanumanasana, splits. You can have your back knee as close to your front foot as you want to make it a little more, more stable and less hamstring crazy. If your right thigh is on the floor or a block, you could try bringing your hands up again. And it's the same thing, it's just squeezing in so that you don't lose your balance. And we'll start to lift our hips up. We're going to come through that prasarita place that we were before. The toes face the long edge of the mat. D position. Reach for the big toes. Inhale. And fold. Exhale. And just practice rolling your shoulders back so that they don't fall toward the ground with gravity. Instead, they move toward your waist. And we'll straighten the arms. Inhale. Walk the hands left. Pigeon. So being able to balance in pigeon is essential for all the future variations of pigeon. If the hip stretch is too much, you just pull that foot in closer. It will make it a little bit easier. You want it to be hard enough that you're present in your pose. You're not thinking about what you have to do after this class or tomorrow. You're just dealing with this. Hands can come up, potentially. There should be no back pain, however. If there is, look at your belly button. That will help kind of bring that in and will decrease the amount of bend. Let's rock to that outer left hip, straighten the left leg, and use the hands to help square you up again. If your left thigh is solid on something, hands can come up. And we're all going to meet, again, facing the long edge of the mat. And when you get there, hands to the hips, and just rise up. And if that hurt, the rising up, you could bend the knees. You could, again, bring your knuckles to your guts. However it suits you. We're going to take reverse prayer or this. This would just be opposite elbows, or you're going to go for reverse prayer. And then we'll fold forward. Inhale there, just upright, and exhale to descend. And try to keep your elbows reaching toward each other. We're doing a lot of weird shoulder stuff because some of these advanced back bends are very shouldery, and I just want your shoulders to be prepared and loose. And let's rise up for an inhale, belly in, and we'll just step to the top of the mat. Reach up, and fold forward, exhale. Halfway up for the inhale, step or jump back, chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. We're going to come forward onto the shins. Stand on the knees and bring our hands to the hips. I like to use the thumb on the tailbone to literally nudge the pubic bone forward. It feels really good in the low back. So, Steph, I recommend you stay like that, because it's just extra support. If you guys feel fine there, then reach for your heels. This is Ustrasana, camel pose. We're pushing into the feet to bring our hips forward, and we're lifting the chest up. Next inhale, rise up. We'll place the hands and step back for vinyasa. Let's bring our right leg forward, pigeon. The left leg we're going to take into mermaid. I'm going to face the other way. So it's going to start just like it did earlier. And if you feel like you can't stay square, wedge a pillow under your right hip. Then you'll be a little higher and it's easier. Left hand back for the inside of the foot, just like you did before. Take a breath. And we'll just start to bend the left elbow. And the foot will come closer to the elbow. Eventually all the way to it, right in the little crook. Then left hand up so that you can reach your right hand around. And you'll square yourself still to the front edge of the mat. So I'm squeezing my legs together. My hips literally lift an inch off the ground to create that squareness. Then slowly release, downward dog. And if for whatever reason, it is too difficult to keep your hips square and too fatiguing on your leg, just put a pillow or a book under your hip. Left leg forward, pigeon. We'll reach the right hand for the inside edge of the foot. And you might even just do this a few times, bending and straightening the right arm. Eventually, today or whenever, to the elbow. If that right hand is down at your shin, there's no way to hold hands. So that right hand has to go up so the left hand can come around. And work on squaring your hips, most importantly. So we're squeezing the legs together, right hip forward, left hip back. And slowly let that go. Vinyasa. We'll meet in downward dog. We'll jump onto the shins again, like you did before. So if you land on your toenails, it'll just be a nice, clean descent onto the shins. Let's have a seat. So your butt is right between the arches of your feet. And if this hurts your knees at all, repeat the thing we did before where we stood on the knees and bent from there. If there's no knee pain, come back to your elbows, to your shoulders. Maybe reach your arms overhead. Pubic bone toward belly button. So even though this is a crazy back bend, you're minimizing it a little bit. Okay, we'll prop ourselves up again on the elbows, then eventually the hands, and then you can bring your hands forward, downward dog. That was just a prep for Laghu Vadrasana because the thigh stretch for Laghu is a little crazy. So we're going to jump onto the feet again, onto the toenails, and then take it down to the shins. So Laghu, let's do just a little prep first, just so that you know kind of the outline. It's not a huge back bend, but it's really strong in the legs. So your hands just by your side, lean back, and bring yourself up again. So it's more of a strong pose than a flexible pose. Feel free to repeat that. Or you're going to put your hands just the normal way your arm would swing back. You're going to put it on your ankle. So there's no weird twisting. It's just back and down. And once the hand goes there, then you can again try that pushing hips forward and letting it go back. And eventually you're going to bring the top of your head to the floor. You might want to put it on a block or a pillow first for a couple months.
And then you'll rise up by pushing into feet and arms, hips forward. Take your time getting out of there. We're going to meet in downward dog. And in this downward dog, let's look at the belly button. It's fine if your shirt is in the way. You know where it is. That's just going to be a little bit of a fast track to releasing the back. Okay, hands and knees, elbows down. I'm going to face this way. We're going to make a little tent with our fingers so that our wrists stay apart, and we'll just drop to the chest. So this is Anahatasana, where our butt is sticking up, the chest is moving down, the forearms are roughly vertical to the ground. And this shoulder position is very similar to Kapotasana. So you just want to be really comfortable here. And you want to keep Mula Bandha happening. So pretend you're drawing your sitting bones closer together. The muscle that connects your sitting bones can contract. And let's slowly rise up out of there. Down dog B, forearms parallel, knees up. And it's possible at the beginning of class, this was hard for you, and now this is kind of the resting place. Okay, let's come to the land of the strap. So grab whatever you're using as your strap. And we'll come into pigeon, right leg in front. And I would recommend that the front foot is a little closer to your left hip than what you would normally do. So we're gonna loop that strap. I don't really loop it, I just kind of put two edges together. And we're gonna try to make sure the left knee is right behind the left hip. If I don't look at it with my eyes, it turns out the knee was all the way by the edge of the mat. Then we'll just lift the left elbow and arm up. And make sure you can balance. If you can't, wedge something under your right hip. And reach your right arm back. And make sure your elbows stay in. You should feel your forearms right at the side of your head. If your elbows are out wide and you can't feel them on the side of your head, there is no way that your shoulders are going to cooperate with this pose. So the forearms are touching you, and then you can start to walk it back as far as you want to go. We'll slowly get out of there, and we'll meet in downward dog. Stare at the belly. Think of inflating your low back by the kidneys. And we'll try the other leg, left leg into pigeon. So obviously both hands are occupied. That's why it was so important earlier that you just practiced the balance. You could even just practice that again. You don't have to be messing with this back leg. You could just practice bringing your hands to your hips. Those of you going for the back leg, make sure your knee is behind your hip. You could stay with your strap really long. Remember what we did at the very beginning where your thumbs were touching the back of your neck? Try to create a similar scenario here. I kept my foot situated before I let the head go back. Because otherwise I tend to get a little overexcited with the back bend and avoid the shoulder stretch. Let's meet in downward dog whenever you're done. And when you're approaching all these crazy back bends, you want to make sure you're dealing with your quadriceps, your hip flexors, and your shoulders. It's not just a back bend for your spine. Everything else is participating. Let's come into that Virasana again. Jump onto the toes and land on the shins. And if that is not comfortable for you, go to Anjaneyasana, which is that low lungey thing that we did like that. So those of you who are in Virasana, we're going to try a version where we end up on the top of the head with our butt off the ground. It will start much like you did before. You'll come on down, and then once you get comfy, take a breath or so, then you'll just place your hands like you would a regular back bend and lift to the top of the head and let your butt come up. So it's a pretty big arc, and it's controlled by the power of your feet and legs. When you can, take opposite elbows and start to bring your forearms down. It's a lot of leg. The way out is just reversing. So hands placed, lift the head, land on the shoulders again, nice and calmly. And then you just start to rise up at a pace that suits your back. And we'll meet in down dog B on the forearms, staring at the belly. Okay, so to neutralize first for a moment, I'm going to tuck my shirt in there so that you don't have to see the whiteness of my belly flesh. It might blind you. So we're going to measure out the elbow distance, interlace the fingers, Baddha Hasta, Shirsasana A, headstand. Anuk, you're going to stay in dolphin pose. Feet on the ground, head off the ground. So just take a few breaths in your headstand and feel the edge of your hand on the ground. And Anuk and dolphin, you can still do the same thing, just without the neck pressure. We'll start to come down. The legs can be straight or bent as you come down. And we'll lower to the knees, take a brief child's pose. We'll rise up and scoot a little bit more forward on the mat so that you can lay back. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Lift the hips, interlace the fingers underneath you. Chest toward chin. Okay, lower your butt to your forearms. And now you're just stuck. In a chest opener, it's lovely. Take 2 breaths. In a moment, we'll be coming into Urdhva Dhanurasana. Carol, since you have wrist issues, either use the wall or make Jerry come stand by you so you can use his ankles, or repeat Setu Bandha, which is what we just did. All right, hips up, hands by the shoulders. Inhale to straighten your arms. And the more we can get the chest to move toward the wall behind us, the less wrist strain there is. So power up the legs, and each exhale, give yourself a little nudge. Chest through the arms. And let's come on down. Okay, either do that same thing again or have a look-see at your screen so that you can see what I mean about the legs helping the wrists. So each time I move towards straighter legs, the wrist bends less. So give it a try. You could even walk your feet in closer to your hands and do the same kind of thing. We'll bend the elbows and lower to the shoulders. Let's bring the knees into the chest for a moment, just so we don't get too stuck. Okay, so this next one is going to be on the forearms, which is way easier for the wrists, but not so easy for the shoulder. So I'm going to face this way so that you can see the difference of elbows. So it starts the same, top of the head. If my elbows go like this, there is absolutely no way I'm getting into this pose. So keep your elbows where you can see them. I literally can see them with my eyeballs. And then I just scoot the fingers closer to the feet. And then once the elbows are down, you press your chest through, and maybe the head comes off the ground. But at all times, the periphery of your vision supports your alignment, because there are your elbows. You're keeping them in check. We'll come to the top of the head, slip the hands back to normal place, straight arms, that's the Dandasana, and release down. Okay, do that one more time on your own. I want to watch. And by do that, I mean whatever it is that you were choosing to do. I can see you, Miss Ann. Nadia, knees in 2 inches. Good. Okay. And we'll slowly make our way back up to, or down rather, to our backs. Take your time. We're all kind of in a different place. Okay. So we're gonna meet in a headstand again. Some people have an easier time getting into that back bend. That's called Viparita Dandasana, the thing we were just in. Some people think it's easier if you fall over from headstand, because then the shoulders are kind of already set. There is an emotional element to the falling over. So decide what you want to do. If you're going to do it, measure out, interlace your fingers, and it just starts like headstand, normal. And I make the giant thud when I land. You go kind of through a normal headstand into a back bend, rolling toward the forehead, pushing into the edge of the hand. And gravity will bring your feet down. You could also bring them to a couch. There are people that think the entry that I showed you before is really hard, but being in the pose is not that hard. So you can decide how you get in. I don't think either is easier or harder, they're just different. You end up in the same place regardless. Whenever you feel like you've wrapped up that little bit, whether it was another back bend from your back or going through headstand, we're just going to meet in down dog, nice and normal. We'll walk our knees toward our hands. And okay, because Anouk wanted to try Kapo, we are going to try it, but not everybody's going to want to. So if Kapo is not your thing, instead of coming into a back bend from here, you're going to go pigeon and then pigeon, downward facing. So we've done a lot of pigeons where we're up here. This would be an upward facing. Downward facing is just head toward the floor. So Kapotasana people, let me just say, there's never going to be a time where you want to do this pose. Very rarely. But it's good for you. It's good for your strength. For me, it's good for the getting over fear. I get very nervous sometimes. So we're going to stand on our knees, reach up, inhale.
And we're gonna either reach for a wall or for the floor. And we're gonna stay there with straight arms for a few breaths and just make sure everything is okay. Elbows will stay in, walk your feet, or walk your hands rather, toward your feet. You should always be able to see your elbows. On the way out, we're going to put the hand down, straighten the arms, and reach chest up and out. So those of you who are doing pigeon, I'm not sure if you switched sides or yet, make sure you have equal time on both sides. Those of you who did capo, do it again, because second time's the charm. We're gonna meet in down dog B, which is on the forearms. We'll come down to hands and knees, measure out just in case your elbows went somewhere crazy, and then place your forearms down again. Baddha C. So the head is going to go in the same spot that it was when our hands were interlaced. You could even put your head down first and then flatten your palms. Doesn't matter. So with the forearms parallel to one another, head down, walk your feet in, and start to lift your legs up. If you have any back issues, sensitivity, bend the knees to the chest. So you'll notice pretty quick how important the fingers and the wrists become. You can exit through chaturanga or go to child's pose. Let's come through to sitting, double pigeon, right leg on top, flex the feet, lean forward, and let's put our hands out to the side, push out, and see if you can get your shoulders to rotate so that you feel your pinky fingers get a little heavy. And let's rise up. Before we change the legs, bring the arms out to the side and pretend it's the very first thing you do at the start of class, that ekam, inhale, and reach your arms up so your palms touch. And bring them up, down again. And same thing, pay attention to how the shoulders rotate when you reach up. And lower the arms. Okay, left leg. The double pigeon. Double pigeon. So this hand thing is one of the headstands for Ashtanga's second series. It would be Mukta C. And it all comes from that shoulder rotation. So the same thing you do when you ekam up. So see if you can figure it out when you're pushing your hands down. It's very different and very weird, which is why it's a really hard headstand. I think it's my least favorite of the 7. It's just really tricky to keep the core engaged, the balance all set, and the fingers and the shoulders. There's a lot going on. Let's lift the torso up and inhale, arms up, palms touch. Exhale, arms down. So just pretend you're doing that very first ekam, inhale. What are your shoulders doing? And exhale, arms down. And let's rock through a vinyasa or just step back, downward dog. Okay, so Anouk with head stuff, you're gonna try either down dog B here or Pincha Mayurasana, legs up in the air. The rest of you, you're gonna try
the headstand with the arms out wide, like what you just did. Just in case, I make sure that I'm not going to kill myself by falling into a cat situation. So I walk back a little bit. Arms out to the sides, palms down, press the hands away, and just start to lift the legs maybe an inch, maybe a few inches. Take your time. The exit is through chaturanga. And that one's kind of a doozy, so if it didn't work perfectly as expected, let's come through to sitting. We'll bring the left leg out straight. Right foot will plunk over the left knee. And just twist gently for a moment. And untwist. With your right hand, you're going to hold that thigh. Push it over to the left as you twist so that your arm is way over the knee. Then bend your left leg if you can, and then reach down. So it really comes from getting this hip, the right hip, to open, getting the knee to move to the side so that you can get that hand gripped. The right hand can reach behind your back and hold your left thigh. And we'll slowly unravel. We're going to straighten the right leg along the long edge of the mat. Your left leg can either stay right where it is or fold it back. We'll twist to the left first, lift the left arm up, and start to side bend. So the twist comes before the side bend, which would imply it's a little more important. So maybe your hand can't hold your foot, or maybe it goes to a strap. I like to use the right hand somewhere out in front of me, either on the floor or on that left knee, to give a little pull so that the right shoulder goes further in front of the right leg. This is Paridasana. Let's slowly rise up, and we'll straighten the legs out in front. The left leg will plunk down outside of the right knee. And first, just a very gentle twist to the left. Belly in. Then we got to negotiate this leg. So the left hand is going to roll the thigh flesh in and push this knee to the right. Hook high up on that right arm. You could reach down right from here, or you can bend that right foot, or right knee rather. Left hand either to the floor or behind your back. This is Ardha Matsyendrasana. It should be a stretch similar to Pigeon, but if you're new to reaching your hand to your foot, you're probably distracted by the shoulder and the elbow. Let's slowly get out of there for Parigasana. Left leg straight. Right leg either stays or flips around to Virasana style. Twist, and then side bend. We'll slowly get out of there. Take your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward dog. Okay, an inversion of your choosing. So we've done a bunch of the headstands. If you're going to stay for a while in a headstand, I recommend this form, the interlaced finger one. It's the most secure for your neck. Pinchamayurasana with the head off the ground is another option, or shoulder stand, laying on the shoulders and lifting the legs up. Miss Carol Bloom, I know you're gonna go for pincha. Let's do this for about 10 breaths. So we'll lean into it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Chaturanga if you can. If you're in pincha, if you're in shoulder stand, just slowly lower down to your back. And let's all come through to our backs. So shoulder stand people, we'll just meet you there. We'll just lift our legs up. So we're in an L shape. Point the toes, press the feet together, and just draw a little circle. Go the other direction. Bend the knees, reach for the pinky toe edges of the feet. Happy baby. In this style, we're going to do it a different way in just a sec. You'll see what it's like. We're trying to push the knees toward the ground, just to the side of the ribs. Then re-straighten the legs. Hold the inside of the heels, and now push into happy baby. It's just a little different. When you decide in your personal practice that you want to start putting your foot behind your head, happy baby is one of those poses that you're going to do every day. Let's bring the knees in, rock a little side to side, and then forward and back, Paschimottanasana. Legs out long, and we fold. If you have any back sensitivity, do that thing we do with the knuckles, just to the sides of the belly button. And as you fold, your knuckles are going to push up into your guts. It's a great stretch for the back. And let's rise up for crossing the legs in lotus or something that resembles it. Just look over there because my clock is on the stove. So we're going to hold either opposite elbows behind the back and push the back into the forearm so you can round yourself. Or if your lotus is tight enough, left hand to the left foot, but it's on the right side of the body, and then right arm around to the other foot. So you end up crossing sort of near the elbows. And either way, your back presses into your forearms. And let's all fold forward. Release the grip, rise up, and then just hug your knees into your chest. You can get your elbows pretty close to your knees, so maybe even your fingers interlace so it's not so much muscle involved. And just let your back round, maybe drop the head, belly in. So we'll stay in this little ball shape. It won't be quite as small as it is right now. But hands will come down in front, not next to, but in front of your hips. Lean and lift. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, knees up, 3, 2, and 1. Come on down, straighten out the legs. And relax back into Shavasana. That last pose is meant to work all of your muscles so that then in Shavasana you can let them all go. Take a few more breaths. We'll start to wiggle fingers and toes. Bend your knees in so it's like a child's pose upside down. And roll to the side. And gently return to sitting, eyes closed. We'll just bring the hands together and fold forward. Take a deep breath. Namaste.